traffic is using roads we didn't think it would. But I think starting with task A and just seeing, does this line up with the growth we said we were going to see? And if it does, I think that just is a lot less intensive of a plan update.
Okay.
Can you make that as a conditional motion? You essentially, if execute task A, and if that determines that a study is necessary, which you need to define with a couple of sentences.
Yeah, I would love to see task A done and then brought back to OUTBoard just to compare what the MEB and TIA say compared to what Orange County thought was going to be the traffic growth there.
So it would be like a condition approval of the scope of work if task A meets certain thresholds by the outboard, proceed with the rest of the task.
Yeah, or just bring task A back to the OUTBoard before we approve the other task B, C, and D.
So Josh is proposing something different.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think that's very thoughtful, Josh. Not that I'm opposed to conditionally approving the other, but I'd say let's look at the results of that.
Can I ask a question about the issue? I'm sorry, was it Michael, was that you? Are you finished or did I just not hear the audio?
Oh, that was me, Michael.
Oh, okay. The question I have is this work done by a consultant? And if you put this out for bid or whatever, only with task A, is that going to really get you somebody to do this work, or will this work be done in-house? The task
We
A.
can give this to a consultant. WSP is our on-call consultant. We can give the analysis work to the consultant so you will have a professional product before you, rather than an in-house one. I mean, I can assign this task to WSP as a task because they're our on-call consultant. They can do this analysis. They can compare Volker's material. They can compare the TIAs that is in the town of Mebane, as Mebane is already approved with these developments and everything, and then give us an analysis of the findings. It will be a professional consultant saying, okay, yes, you're at Volker's threshold, you're at Volker's projection, or you're above it and need to update the plan.
What would be your preference?
I would use the on-call consultant. I would use WSP to do the work.
Okay, I guess that does change it. Oh, go ahead.
Yes, sir.
No, that's fine if it's an on-call. Yeah, I just didn't know if that would be something. If you have an on-call contract, then it seems like it would be fine to separate this out as one piece.
Yeah, I think that as long as it's going to be enough of a scope for the consultant, I think this, when it was framed as in-house, I think that, made sense to just do it in-house. But if it's going to require a consultant, then
Would you rather do the whole thing or just the analysis?
I think the preference would be to do an analysis. I know that just running a TIA is different than doing a plan update. And
Yeah.
if the plan update is the ultimate goal, I don't know if you want to use your on-call for just a TIA update first.
Okay.
But if it's done in-house, then I think that makes sense.
WSP to do task A. So just so I understand, I'll get WSP to do task A. They will present their findings to y'all and then determine if you want to proceed with the rest.
Yeah, I think that'd be useful. I don't think also, it doesn't have to be WSP presenting. I think just seeing the Eflin Buckhorn was pretty clear that this pod is going to have 7,000 trips and this pod is going to have 2,000 trips, and just seeing how those numbers line up with each other.
Yeah. And they may not, and just to further clarify, they may not line up with each other, because
Yes.
if you look at the pods, if you look at the original 2019, the plan, the pods were based on a geographic, not the parcel by parcel or the development by development. They were grouped together, or we would think this area would develop. Well, the development that had been approved may not been that whole full development. It may not been that pod. So the development may be 1, 2 pods together or pieces of pods together and their projections versus, but Josh is right. The overall total of that development, of all these developments, is either at the 2019 projections or below or above, requiring those changes.
Did you want to make a motion?
I was hoping somebody else would wordsmith that, but I can give a try. A try at it. That move that a task A analysis of existing conditions will be undertaken for the Eflin Buckhorn Mebane Access Management Plan. And the results of that study will be used by the OUTBoard to determine whether to proceed with the plan update.
Happy to second that.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
It's wording.
Mm.
And I started out having to write stupid laws for legislatures. The search for Andrew Jackson's birthplace, $20,000 and $1977 thrown away. And I wrote the bill. He was born in a moving wagon.
Any other further questions, concerns, comments on this? Seeing no hands raised. Move on to the next slide. The Metropolitan Transportation Plan 2055 MTP. Josh, I think you're very familiar with this process and stuff like that. This is just simply looking for your feedback. The goals and objectives, I believe, have been approved. The goals are out for public review and comment because there's some little words, I think that they've changed. Because it's the goals and objectives in particular, uploaded plans and documents. Your package shows the process this plan has been going through over the past over a year now. Well, August 9th was when the model was adopted and approved. The public engagement was in December. The goals and objectives, we're going through approval of them. There's still some more work to be done. It'll come back to you later for the efficiency analysis, the projections. You'll see outlooks of what the alternatives are, the scenarios are later, and then you'll see the final plan when they develop it. So if you have any comments, concerns on this MTP process, please let me know so I can forward it off to the NPO. And if you look at their website, it's a very interactive website of the MTP. If they stay updated compared to the previous year's MTP, and that could answer any questions, concerns you may have. This is a quick.
Is that, Art, is that the link you couldn't get to work?
Yeah.
No,
That
go back
just
to the
a link instead of being a link.
Yeah.
I have a question, just, it says what the MPT plan process is to date,
Yes, ma'am.
and then, I'm trying to figure out where we get into it again, or is this just a FYI kind of situation? Do we?
This is
also-
more of a, looking for your feedback on the goals and objectives right now. I'm sorry I didn't put them into the main document, but the link is there for it. The planning process is a 2-year-long planning process, so there's gonna be more public engagement, more public input going forward. There's analysis that'll be presented later, so you'll have more opportunities to weigh in on the MPP.
Thank you.
Right now is to give you an update as to how it's been going on with it so far, and the NPO is always looking for your feedback and comments on this process, because it is a important document. It is a federally required one, and it's the fiscally constrained, the financially constrained version of the CTP.
But check that link and.
I'll fix it. I'll send a link to everybody, put a note to myself to give you an updated link. Other questions? Next item is the raise grant. I'm just giving you a highlights of the raise grant. The raise grant has been authorized since the Transportation Authorization Bill was approved. The Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or the Bipartisan Infrastructure Bill. This grant has been going on for, what, 4 years now, Josh?
Yeah, and before that, it was called something else. Every administration.
Yeah, every
renames it.
administration has this grant. Yeah, like you said, it's been called different things. We still have, what, 2 more years to go into this grant, so there's still some funding available for it. I think Durham County just recently got part of the raise grant for Holland something on Long Holland for some improvements for that. We would like to pursue this raise grant, and I have some ideas, some projects in this package to explain to you what some of those ideas are there for Orange County to pursue, to give you parameters for this. And it's highlighted in your packet.
You can use this for all kinds of project planning projects, and planning is, if you develop a plan in the planning process that involves construction, you cannot go for another raise grant for that construction. If you do planning and in terms of a construction project, you have to find some other funding source besides raise to go for that construction of that project. You can go for a full construction project with the raise grant for basically anything, as long as the minimum is $5 million. For urban and in the rural areas, your minimum project cost for capital project is $1 million. Maximum you can go for either one, the rural or urban, is $25 million. For capital, for the construction of a project, like a regional multi-mobility hub next to the train station. Which is one of the projects that I would like to pursue with a raise grant. I may not fund it, STIP may not fund it, raise can, and we would like to work with the Fast 2 study and other studies, the other planning things that would pursue a multimodal hub in Hillsborough as part of the raise grant, and I've been talking to WSP and so it's a good opportunity to do that. The Safe Route to School, I will bring you just to give you an update, I will be emailing everybody the WSP's analysis of the existing condition analysis for the Safe Route to School. All 13 schools have been analyzed, their physical infrastructure have been analyzed, I will send you the report for that, to get your comments and weigh in on that, so I've been talking with them, and they said we're primed to be able to put in a raise grant for the multi-mobility hub. We would like to implement the Safe Route to School project when the plan is done and adopted for all the infrastructure around Safe Route to School. We would like to turn those into construction projects and pursue possibly a raise grant for that. And maybe help Hillsborough, and maybe help Chapel Hill. If Chapel Hill would like to expand their north-south BRT to Hillsborough to pursue construction of that in its expansion as well, because I think it was one of the locally for alternative money that was studied when y'all do the north-south BRT, so I think there's consideration to expansion to Hillsborough, Pittsboro. So maybe we would like to work with Chapel Hill to expand that, to pursue a raise grant, to expand that service. So those are 3 ideas for the raise grant that I would like to put together a package for and submit to the NPO and DOT and get supports and stuff. So I just need your help in determining which project, and each jurisdiction is only allowed to submit 3 projects. Each agency can only submit 3 projects. If we submit more, well, it's first come, first served. So whatever those submits were, they go first.
Yeah.
And Josh, correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't know if Chapel Hill's pursuing any raise grants or.
No, we already got a planning raise grant. I think that experience was it's not an easy grant. It's a 35-page proposal. There's a lot of spreadsheets you got to submit to the feds as well. I think for that reason, I don't know if chasing all 3 is the best move.
That's why I put this on the packet for the agenda. I need your recommendation, your suggestion on what's a good project to pursue. And I would love for you all to send regional mobility hubs.
I'll just say too, the NSBRT planning grant, I think we can plan it and we can look at it, but ultimately it's not going to win spot funding. And it's going to go over that $25 million max that a raise grant can fund. And who knows if the next administration is going to be interested in giving their discretionary grants to transit. I think overall, I don't think that's one to recommend necessarily.
So that means the option is the hub or Safe Route to School, or if y'all could come up with another project that I can pursue, like you said, I have a 35-page packet to put together.
And those applications are due in January.
The call for the application window really opens around January, so between now and January to put the package together.
Yeah, that's what I heard.
But I need the MPO. I mean, I've been told by commissioners to start pursuing this because Durham County got their project, so I need to start now.
You were told by who?
Durham County has already got their
Yeah,
project,
county
some of the
commissioners.
commissioners are aware of it, and
Oh,
our new managers are aware of it, so why are we getting it? So I got to pursue this.
Would it make sense to go for just those 2 capital projects, or would even just submitting 2 cannibalize each other?
I would recommend 1.
Which one?
I think the goal is to align with the administration's priority. This grant that is discretionary, it's based off of some metrics, but ultimately the politicians and the Secretary of Transportation are the ones who are making the final call
Yep.
on what grants get funded and which ones don't. I think the regional mobility hub probably aligns with the administration's talk about transit and, integrating and innovation and all of that type of discussion. I think that's maybe the route that probably has the best chance of getting funded. It probably has the strongest equity arguments and economic impact and all that type of stuff that I want to hear.
WSP's been telling me the same thing when I met with them regarding the Fast 2 study, so it's a prime.
Is that
Target.
the facility is gonna be off the Orange Grove Road extension?
Yeah, Hillsborough is already building the train station. The train station is already implemented. They already works with DOT and Amtrak and Norfolk Southern to get an agreement to get the bus to stop there. So, sorry, the train to stop there. So the issue is now we got trains stopping there in the future. Add the rest and make it a major hub for all transit agencies.
Based on Gil's recommendations, I'm inclined to go along with the regional multimodal hub.
Yeah, I think let's put our chips on that one, get it funded.
And is there any possibility of getting a second project, or is it best, like what everybody's saying, put a big bet on one? You will get one?
You can chase multiple. I think winning one is a big deal. I think Durham's been chasing their race grant they got for 3 years in a row. Go Triangle's been chasing the one they got for 4 years in a row. It's rare.
Yeah, I gotta put a 35-page, I gotta put this package together and I gotta submit it by January. And if it doesn't, then I got one more year to pursue the same project. Because I think that, like I said, the new authorization bill would determine its livelihood in the next 5 years.
What do you think the cost is gonna be?
Right now, the original cost because I studied this project back when we were doing Spot 7, when we put this Spot 7 projects, because it was submitted for a rail project and part of a transit project. Originally, we worked with the town of Hillsborough, it's around $7 million with the small building, small hub. But realizing this can go for up to 25 million, I can pursue for more, and getting WSP having on on-call consultant can do some of the design engineering work for it while the project would fund the construction.
Thank you.
It will be under 25 million. I wouldn't seek the whole 25 million. I think I think Campbell pursued one project, and Campbell or somewhere in Raleigh also pursued a raise grant. They got a grant. They sought for 50 million and got 25 million.
I agree that with Josh's analysis about why the multimodal hub would be something that this administration might be interested in. But I also think, unless I don't understand it, that the Safe Routes to School update might also have some, let's say, political interest, because it's in rural, it affects a lot of the rural areas in Orange County. And that also is something that the administration is very interested in trying to enhance. I mean, they did, the whole broadband issue of extending broadband into rural America has been a huge win for rural America, for rural North Carolina. And this, maybe I don't understand all the nuances of the safe school routes to schools, but I do know how much we've been trying to deal with the bridge to Orange County High School. So I understand the idea of just doing one, but I also wouldn't discount the fact that the other option does have some attraction potentially for this administration. Now, next year, this is going to be coming, the people that will be reviewing it in January of 2025, they may have a very different view than the people that are doing it now.
Right, because our application won't be reviewed to those new people.
Exactly. So
Yeah.
I'm just, and I have no idea what would happen depending on administrations about any of this. Maybe they'll just defund the Department of Transportation.
They tried.
Well, no, I'm sorry. I'm just saying is that I understand it's a lot of work. But that is something that this OUTBoard has been working on and trying to figure out how to fund. So I wouldn't totally discount it. Maybe put it on the back burner. And then if you zip through the 35-page one for the first item, maybe consider the second one. Thank you.
We will, and I think I can get more information on the second one. I'm sorry.
Eric, I think you're gonna say what I was gonna say about the report that's coming.
Yeah.
Inform that.
And WSP is very generous with that report. WSP was a little over generous with that when they did the existing condition analysis. And I'm sorry for not bringing it with y'all here and giving it to y'all. The analysis included recommendations. So they've already gone ahead to the next chapter and providing recommendations. And those recommendations, I can get them to add cost to those recommendations to determine what the cost of those things are going to be and start. I have a little bit more of a head start on putting a package together for the safe route to school implementation than I do for the mobility hub. The mobility hub is more of a county priority, Hillsborough priority, and it requires a little bit more research and more thing to put together so I can pursue both. This is going to be a matter of what I get done in November, how close I am to finishing both those packages. And I will bring it to y'all to help me improve on those in November. If y'all see any ways I can improve on those packages.
I just think they'd be in competition with each other. I don't think there's any realistic chance of both getting funded in the same cycle.
Yeah, but this is a national wide competition. This is not a North Carolina competition.
Yeah,
This is
but I
the-
mean, it doesn't increase our chances of success to have two projects in as opposed to one.
Yeah,
Yeah. I think the rationale around wanting rural projects and wanting something that the OUTBoard has strongly been behind is totally, fair and a strong case for the safe routes to school. I think the I think I'm still sticking with the multimodal as the recommendation. I think especially as we look at when the new administration, whoever that is, even if it's just a new secretary, comes in and puts in new criteria for what they want to see out of this grant. I suspect that might give the safe routes to school a better chance in future years. And I think having strong support from partners is also a key. When Chapel Hill won it, it was a big thing to go collect letters of support from anybody and everybody we could find. I think I would want to see the safe routes plan get buy-in from the schools so that we can be sure that we have that support before we start chasing that down.
Now, is this one cycle for both FY 25 and FY 26? Or can we go with the multimodal home and FY 25 application and
that's
save
another
it for
option because I
schools
could submit,
next year?
I could submit one project in January for FY 25. I could pursue another one following January for FY 26. And then we will see what the new authorization bill going forward, because they'll change the name again and they'll call it something else in the next bill. So even 27, we can pursue different projects.
I have a hard time envisioning what a safe routes to school construction project look like.
2 mile bike ped non-highway infrastructure improvements around facilities for transit and bike ped access in rural Orange County.
I think the example in Durham that they recently got the grant for was to fill all sidewalk gaps along Holloway Street, which is one of their biggest bus corridors, all the way out to rural Durham County to fill in every sidewalk gap, make sure it's all ADA accessible, do safety analyses, fix all the bus stops along a 3 mile stretch of road where about half of it already has a sidewalk today. So there are options for, can we fill in gaps along roads that already have sidewalks today that lead into schools? Those are the types of projects that could be packaged up for safe routes.
So when we think about rural Orange County, we don't have the right of way or facilities for sidewalks to get to school.
Developers do. We would work with the developer, somehow put together some way of working with the developer in the state, because the developer would be making, developers are the ones that are creating the sidewalk gaps. Developers build and put a sidewalk, and another developer puts a sidewalk somewhere else. Well,
Yeah.
that gap between that needs to be addressed, and that's what's happened around some of the schools, because you see it in Hillsborough. Hillsborough has some of the schools in Hillsborough. Some of the neighborhood has some of the sidewalks. Well, there's gaps to the school, and between school to school, there's gaps like Orange High and
Yeah,
Cedar Ridge and other places that are gaps within county.
and even past developers, the race grant, a big portion of the race grant that Durham's getting is not to actually put the concrete down. It's to buy the property from all the businesses and homes that are nearby to buy
Really?
that right of way.
Really?
Yeah, for Holloway Street in Durham, the concrete isn't going to be the expensive thing. It's a busy road in the middle of you know, Durham, you gotta buy some people's property, and that's gonna be what eats up a lot of that money.
Yeah.
So that can be an option.
Yeah, the Orange Grove Road sidewalk construction, the the engineering design for the sidewalk construction, WSP is gonna do, is offering right-of-way acquisitions, and the right-of-way acquisition cost of that project is around 50,000.
So is that sidewalk for the
Cedar Ridge High School,
Cedar Ridge High?
yeah.
I'm gonna move that the Transportation Services Department pursue the regional is authorized to pursue the regional multimodal hub raise grant application for FY 25 and authorized to pursue the implementation of the 2024 Orange County Safe Routes to School update in FY 26.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Sherry?
Any other questions, comments?
No, I'm fine. Thank you. Go ahead.
All in favor, say aye.
Uh,
Awesome, thank you so much. Got my marching orders.
Huh? Almost done, almost done. I think the rest are updates, so I think that was the last action item. I think the rest are updates, in your packet is the NCDOT material, projects and stuff that's going on. DOT is still working, even though the commissioners are on, and everybody's out, some everybody's on vacation and stuff. DOT is still out there working, DOT is still making improvements and stuff. You'll have that packet in front of you. 40 should be finishing on schedule, 85 should be coming along maybe a few years after that, so things are going fine with those. Any questions on the NCDOT updates?
are we missing a page for the 6A item?
Yeah, it looks like we don't have the updates in the packet.
Oh, my mistake, okay. That's my fault. Okay, that's on me.
I'll email those to you. I had them in the folder, I just didn't put them in the packet.
And a minor note, I think it's 5B is labeled also as 5A. on that.
Yeah. I was realizing when I would get the finished packet done, it's like, okay, this is real thin.
Yeah.
Were we gonna also bring back our votes on the projects from the last meeting?
No, when the vote was done, I submitted the materials that you, the RPO and MPO needed.
I'll come back and show you the results. When the scores come in, I'll show you the results. So if you want to make changes, you'll have an opportunity to make changes for the division projects when the division is looking for local input points. I was trying to avoid having to bring this back to you all twice and miss another deadline to the MPO and RPO. I rather got it done in one shot, but I will come back and bring you the scores when the regional scores come out and the updated scores and show you. And if you want to make changes to the division part, you're welcome to do that when it comes back to you later in the fall. The county
Not-
bike ped plan to give you, I'm sorry.
Oh, go
Yes,
ahead.
somebody want a
Sounds
question?
like Sherry.
Sure.
Sherry?
Oh, no, I'm sorry. You're now going on the bike ped plan. Is that correct?
Yeah, did you have a question about Spot?
No, thank you. Sorry.
To give you an update on the bike ped plan, we have received 3 proposals, Central Pine is the contract holder, the MPO is a contract holder, Central Pine is the lead planning agency who's been managing the contract. We're paying the bill and running the project. The 3 consultants submitted proposals, Alta, Stantec, and WSP. All 3 were, well, 2 were interviewed. The selection committee was made up of DOT, Central Pine Regional Council, MPO, and Orange County. The 4 people made the selection. Stantec were selected as the consultant to do the plan. So they'll be working on putting together the contract, and with them, we'll be paying the bill and getting reimbursed for that project. That project will start when the notice of proceed is done. So the county will have its first bike ped plan done by a professional engineering firm in Orange County. If you're not familiar with Stantec, they're the same ones that are doing the Church Street widening for Hillsborough. Alta is really great with this firm. I'm glad they submitted it is their specialty. But everybody we worked with Stan. So you'll be getting more update information when that project kicks off. It'll be the county's first bike ped plan. And I'm working with Deeper to help them with their trails plan. So they'll be pursuing a trails plan while we're pursuing the bike plan.
Let's go.
Question about, back in the DC area, there was extremely strong and coordinated bike groups. And I don't, if that is the case here, if there's a strong, organization or organizations that are very engaged with things like this, bike plans, wanting to do bike plans, it would be nice to try to give them a heads up as early as possible that this is in process so we can engage them. Because
Former chair Heidi Perov.
They are well aware of this, and Stantec is well aware of who that advocate groups are in Orange County. That is what got them selected.
oh, good. Okay, that's great. I'm just saying is the earlier the better on the engagement on this group.
Absolutely. All I gotta do is tell Heidi.
I know how picky they can be. I say that in a good way, but I know they can be very engaged to a fare thee well. So.
All I gotta do is tell Heidi. All I gotta do is sit over there in Weaver Street on Saturday and Sunday with those bike people. So, yeah. Absolutely. Any other questions on the bike ped plan? More information about that will be forthcoming.
On here.
I got 10 minutes to finish the rest.
It's a year in the future.
The locally coordinated human service plan, this is also in your package. It is the last item on the agenda. And you see the planning process we've been doing, working on this process since, well, it says March to April, but I think it really started in February. We went through the public process in the March and April period. This is regarding the MPO's 5310 pot, 5310 funding. I'll be pursuing, since we've been working with them through this process, with the Department of Aging, doing public engagement workshops and social services and stuff like that. So we'll be pursuing hopefully in the future, going through funding for 5310 projects. This is for elderly and disabled and transit services. We as a department, as transportation department, we also work with the Department of Social, CJRD, we work with housing, we work with DSS, we provide transit services to all kinds of things. We provide transit services to work with the school. So we provide and we coordinate a lot of transportation services through different means and needs for the entire county as a department. And we'll be using this plan to pursue some of those funds now that the plan has been approved. Granted, it does put us in competition with other departments and because it is a countywide thing, but we will be hopefully pursuing grant funding opportunities through that as well.
I'm assuming that the background date is 2024.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry. There's other paths to pursue 5310. There's state paths through the NCDOT. There's other paths that we could pursue. We're under the umbrella of 2 coordinated plans. In the RPO, we have a plan, and the MPO's plan was recently updated. So we have opportunities to pursue 5310 funding through different MPOs and RPOs, and I'll be hopefully pursuing those, trying to get those packets together. While also doing a raise grant packets.
Who helps you do all
Staff, everybody helps. We all pitch in. I sometimes lean on MPOs and RPOs. I mean, now that the Central Pine is our lead planning agency, they have grant opportunity, grant resources that we can tap into. I have an on-call consultant who can help. So we
that?
have
Well, just ask her.
all kinds of resources to get as much help as possible.
Good deal.
Good.
We stayed under the hour and a half.
Yes, you did. Well,
Nice.
Any update on Amy's request for the plastic bollards on the bridge?
I checked with Chuck. I emailed Chuck. Chuck is looking onto it with Don McPherson. They're looking into it. They're also looking into the issue with the the Orange Grove Road and the traffic signal over in that area. So the more information you bring to me, the more I can pass on administratively with DOT and get DOT to start cracking on some of this stuff and working on trying to figure some things out. I also got a pamphlet for a brochure in the mail recently of a vendor that purchases some of those things. So I may be seeing if AMS can help me to do some of this stuff administratively. And I got to do some research with DOT and sit down with Chuck and pick his brain and stuff to see if he can help me do this administrative with AMS and see if we can do some mitigation, Band-Aid mitigation until road improvements can be done in those areas. I'm an all about administration. I'm behind the back doors going to the DOT's office, say, hey, can we fix this, figure this out?
Cool. Any other items from the
I
group?
just- Is if the next meeting is actually August the 19th, I will not be there. So
Yeah,
FYI.
it's in the summer. Do you want me to change it? Do you want me to change it? Is everybody gonna be available 19th, or like I say, Chair, you have the discretion of changing meetings and making special meetings, and you need to coordinate if you want us to look for another opportunity, but
I'd like to get the feedback from the group. I know I can be available.
Yeah, I could be available any evening that week.
I have some important things I need y'all to consider on August, so I need an August meeting.
So that week in August is a better week for me.
Yeah, I'm out the week before that, but I could meet any night that week of the 19th.
And I'm out the week after that.
You can meet any day during that week. So you're saying any day during that week, any day during that week.
Week of
So I have
August
the week
19th.
available. Anybody?
I can't make Thursday night, but I could move Monday through Wednesday.
Do you have a night you're available that week, Sherry?
Unfortunately not. I'm gonna be at Hilton Head with a whole bunch of families. Sorry.
Yeah, I'm afraid I'm out all the week before that and Michael out all the week after that.
No, please, I mean, I just wanted to give you a heads up, that's all. I would not ask to change meetings or anything. I'm fine. Thank you.
Oh, and Sherry, Jamil just mentioned, the only, the sort of, conflict of interest I don't have is something from you. Can you email us me or somebody that can email me the, conflict of interest form, or I can send it to you. I would need that today, or maybe, can we get it first thing tomorrow? Because we need a copy of yours, or if you can
Yeah.
authorize me with your signature to,
I can do it. I'm sorry, I just forgot, but I think I've got it on my desk here somewhere to do, and I can do that.
scan it, just send it to me and I'll take care of the rest. I got the others already.
Yes, I'm sorry. I will do that. Thank you.
And that reminds me, I would also need to update the bylaws and some of the stuff regarding the conflict of interest issue. I work with DOT trying to make it as administratively as possible. I'm pretty sure y'all are tired of signing that thing every year. So all DOT just needs is to receive it every year. I just need, and I would need your authorization. Could I use your e-signatures from last year?
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you authorize me to use the signatures from last year that you have on file as conflict of interest for this year?
Yes.
And going forward, I would just do that administratively, so you don't, so I'm not bugging you, because all DOT needs is, they just need to receive it. They don't care how it's done. They just need to receive
Okay.
every year. And
I like
I'm going through the previous records. Our office is Tina Love. You probably know Tina Love.
Yeah.
She used to do this behind the scenes and administratively get things from me also. If I have your authorization, then I will pursue getting this thing done in All I need is Sherry's, and I got everybody else's.
Got ours.
I've got yours from last year, and I'll just use the same. If you authorize me to use your signature, I'd apply to this year. All right,
Do
we're
we have
good.
a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second,
I'll second.
all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Alright.
Really appreciate everybody.
Thanks. Appreciate keeping us on track and efficient meetings.
My goal is to get y'all home so I can go